badge book police officer. I solemnly swore that I'd protect our citizens, defend our country, and defend the rights of all. It was the proudest moment of my life. So I'm thinking this, when I'm on patrol in the kind of place that attracts dopers, thieves, and all other kinds of lowlifes. And I'm walking, making my usual 11 p.m. shift, when suddenly this clerk waves me down, and he's all like, I was robbed! And I'm like, great. It's only 4 tonight. But so I hear him out. And he starts telling me how the suspect had walked into the convenience store, drank 2 beers, punched the woman at the ATM because she refused to withdraw money for him, punched her again, and then stole some snacks. Then the clerk, he points to this fat guy urinating on the store's dumpster. And he's all like, look, it's him! And chubby. Well, he takes one good look at me. And without bothering to put away his pecker now, he gets up and he starts running. And by the time I get around the corner, he's gone. This big fat guy just disappeared. And me, I'm just like, tonight is going to be a very long night. According to the preliminary 2017 police officer fatality report, 128 police officers were killed in the line of duty last year, a 10% decrease over 2016, and the lowest number of fatalities in the last 50 years. However, despite the job getting safer, NBC News of March 18, 2017 reports that across the country, numerous police departments are desperately losing manpower with decreasing numbers of officers and recruits. Whether due to highly publicized police shootings, sensationalized media portrayals, or recent mishandlings of racially charged issues, it is clear that the profession of law enforcement is in need of an image boost. When given the opportunity, we must embrace stories that empower the protect and serve narratives of law officers to set an example for those entering the profession and to echo the standards we aspire our protectors to adhere to. True Blue by Sergeant Randy Sutton, and by the time I get around the corner, he's gone. This big fat guy just disappeared. So I decide to go look for him in this housing project when, what do I find? A candy bar. A clue! Chubby could have dropped it. And here I am following this trail of candy bars that's enough to make Willy Wonka jealous, when suddenly I find my suspect crouched in a corner, stuffing his fat face with potato chips. And after a brief struggle, during which he wouldn't drop the potato chips, I took him into custody. Later, while talking to the clerk told me he was surprised that the suspect had perpetrated such a crime. The clerk knew the suspect. In fact, they were family friends. The clerk even had Thanksgiving dinner at the suspect's house. Unbelievable, man. I've come to learn that, well, there is no more challenging profession than law enforcement. You see, there's this huge chasm between the people who enforce the laws and the people we protect and serve. This chasm is filled with mistrust, disgust, and prejudice on both sides. And you see, it is our job to bridge that gap one person at a time. But you see, my job is not easy. The things I have to see, well, you always have to tell yourself to put them behind you, to try not to think about them. But you know, there is this one time I will never forget. I was a younger cop back then. I hadn't been exposed to the streets. I was first alerted that there was an issue when there were 2 compact cars stopped in an intersection. Inside the first compact car was a family. Steady work, good home, and the addition of a 1-month-old baby girl in the infant seat. Probably on the way from getting diapers or something. It was the second car that troubled me. Inside the second car, I could see the two older men, foreheads glistening with sweat. The cocaine surging through their systems elevated their body temperatures, reducing their ability to think or feel. They chose that moment to raise their 9mm semi-automatics and empty the bullets into the car beside them. Then those two punks sped off, laughing, proud of the courage it took them to fight out the innocent. As I approached the scene, all I could hear is a woman screaming her baby having At that moment, I saw the infant car seat on the sidewalk. The street light illuminated her tiny face, awash with blood, and my heart fell as I saw her little body jerking spasmodically. I was alone on this call. I needed 3 heads and 10 hands. Who shot her? Were they still nearby? Why did they do it? I needed to get medical attention for the baby, but Caesar's playing. You summon the paramedics and begin the investigation, and everyone's screaming, everyone's crying, and all I can think is, I must help this baby. I didn't give a damn the procedure. I snatched up the bloody bundle, I ran to the police car, told my young officer to step on into the hospital. And she wasn't breathing, so I began resuscitation, and I started pumping, and it wasn't working. She was choking on her own blood, so I kept pumping, and I began to breathe my air into her lungs. And I keep pumping, and the cop next to me, he's driving as fast as he can, and I keep pumping. And I keep pumping, and I'm praying in between breaths, like, please, little one, please don't die on me. And I'm pumping. And the lights are going off, and the sirens are going off, and I'm pumping. And all of a sudden, I hear the most beautiful sound in the entire world. The sound of a baby crying. And at that moment, I knew she would be okay. When we got to the hospital, I handed her off to the people who would be responsible for her life. Her life. That little girl, well, she was going to live. Of course, she would need extensive surgery to make up for the scars that night, but she was going to live. And that's all I could ask for. As I left the procedure room, her parents came up to me and they're hugging me, thanking me, kissing me, and talking in 2 different languages. And that's when I learned her name was Jackie. You know, as a police officer, I help a lot of people. That's my job. But it's not often one of those people gets a name, a beautiful name, like Jackie. And the things you see, and you always have to tell yourself to put them behind you. But some things need to be remembered. Walking out of that hospital that night, I realized why we do it. All this stress, all this hardship we encounter, we do it for the little ones. We do it to keep them safe. We do it to protect and serve.